Hezekiah's prayer, when death was at the door. 2 Kings 20. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, it really does help us build the channel. When crisis strikes, when your world is shaken, and when death feels closer than life, how do you pray? In 2 Kings chapter 20, we find one of the most powerful and desperate prayers in the Bible. It's the prayer of King Hezekiah, a man told by God himself that his life was coming to an end. And yet, through prayer, everything changed. Hezekiah's prayer. The passage begins with devastating news. The prophet Isaiah tells the king, "Set your house in order, for you shall die, and not live." And here is Hezekiah's response, his prayer. Then Hezekiah turned his face to the wall and prayed to the Lord, saying, "I beseech thee, O Lord, remember now how I have walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart, and have done that which is good in thy sight." And Hezekiah wept sore. 2 Kings 22-3. Simple, honest, desperate. A short prayer, but one that shook heaven. A king in crisis. Hezekiah was only in his late 30s or early 40s. He had served faithfully as king, tearing down idols, restoring worship of the true God, and protecting Jerusalem from the Assyrians. But now, at the height of his strength, he hears a death sentence from God. Notice what Hezekiah does. He doesn't call his advisors. He doesn't plan a defense. He doesn't bargain with men. Instead, he turns his face to the wall. This posture shows complete focus on God, blocking out the world, shutting out distractions, and laying his heart bare before the Lord. The heart of his prayer. Hezekiah's prayer is brief, but powerful. He appeals to God's memory. "Remember how I have walked before you." He points to a life of faithfulness, in truth and with a perfect heart. He asks God to see his devotion and mercy. And then, he weeps. Sometimes, prayer is not about fancy words. Sometimes, the most powerful prayer is tears, honesty, and raw emotion poured out before God. Hezekiah doesn't pretend to be strong. He doesn't hide his fear. He cries out in weakness, and God hears him. God's response. Before Isaiah had even left the palace, God spoke again. "Turn back, and say to Hezekiah, Thus says the Lord, the God of David your father, I have heard your prayer, I have seen your tears, behold, I will heal you. On the 3rd day you shall go up to the house of the Lord. And I will add to your days 15 years. 2 Kings 25-6. Incredible. God hears, God sees, God acts. Hezekiah prayed, and his story was rewritten. 15 more years of life were granted to him, not because of medicine, not because of luck, but because God responded to prayer. Lessons for us. So what can we learn from Hezekiah's prayer when we face our own crises? Prayer is the first response, not the last resort. Hezekiah didn't waste time with human solutions. He went straight to God. Honest prayer moves the heart of God. His prayer wasn't long, but it was sincere. God is not impressed by polished words, He listens to broken hearts. God sees our tears. Sometimes we think tears show weakness, but to God, they are powerful prayers. Every tear is noticed by Him. God holds the power of life and death. Doctors, leaders, armies, they all have limits. But when God speaks, life is restored, healing is given, and hope rises again. Trusting God in crisis. Hezekiah's story reminds us that crisis is not the end, it's an invitation to deeper trust. Maybe right now you feel like Hezekiah. The doctor's report is grim. The financial situation looks hopeless. The relationship seems broken beyond repair. Like Hezekiah, you may feel as though death is at the door, whether literal or symbolic. But this story tells us, God hears your cry. He is the God who turns walls of despair into altars of prayer. He is the one who can add years, restore hope, and bring life where there seems to be none. A call to prayer. What crisis are you facing today? Take a page from Hezekiah's life. Turn your face to the wall. Shut out the noise. Speak honestly with God. Let your tears become prayers. You may not always get the answer you expect, but you can trust that God hears, God sees, and God responds. The same God who added 15 years to Hezekiah's life is the God who holds your future in His hands. Hezekiah's prayer reminds us that even when death is at the door, prayer can open a new future. If this message encouraged you, share it with someone who is facing a crisis today. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell for more videos exploring the most powerful prayers of the Bible. Remember, when crisis comes, turn to God, because He hears your prayer and sees your tears.